What makes a champion? Probably the mental skills are probably the biggest stuff. Just being like persistent in your goals over a long period of time. I feel like I live sort of double life. Some people in my life, they understand the whole thing. I have CP, I'm disabled. Other people, they just see Joe the athlete, and I feel like I have to juggle who I am because I just didn't really speak about it, didn't really tell anyone that I was disabled. Even just talking about my disability, that's kind of the biggest thing for me. So, almost as good as being able to race in Paris. I'm a sprinter, so I compete in the 100 and 200 metres. I was born with cerebral palsy. I was born premature, so I had a stroke, I think about 3 days before I was born. The CP affects my right side, which affects coordination, strength, fine motor skills, fatigue, and also a bit of speech impediment as well. My right foot only moves in 2 different ways as opposed to all 4 ways, so I do struggle with my feet a lot. My right side is much tighter, and I kind of clinch my right arm towards my body. It used to be really bad with my wrist. When I'm running, it's very asymmetrical. It doesn't look very even, which is something that we're working on. Lunges are one of the more challenging things for me, just with my CP, so it's a really good exercise for me to try and balance out my left side being stronger and my right side being weaker, so having a bit of extra weight, having to like offset that, really helps like engage my right side. Paris World Champs, that's the Para Athletics World Champs. I'm a T37 runner, so I'll be running against all the other athletes who have right or left side hemiplegia. It's my debut in the black singlet, which is very exciting. But I'm looking forward to just being a part of like a high performance team. I feel like I deserve this opportunity. The times I've got down here are the distances that I'd be looking to run this season. The 100 is 11.97. That's a goal that I've been trying to break since I started, pretty much. I've written that down nearly 4 years ago. If I can break 12 seconds, then hopefully 24.6 I can break as well. I need to be very accountable for myself. Keeping up and being consistent, I think, is the main thing. Previous years, I haven't been so consistent with sleep, keeping up the gym in the season, and I think if I can do those things, I'll be on a better path to making the Paralympics. I train 4 to 5 times a week, 3 to 4 track sessions, and then 1 or 2 gym sessions thrown in there as well. Training's usually about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's pretty intense.
Joe's a really, really good accelerator. Up through the first 20, 30 metres, he's right there with the best in the world. What we need to work on is his maximum speed that he reaches between like 30, 50, 60 metres. And if he can get that up to what the best in the world are doing, then he's exciting already, but that really kind of will put him above the threshold.
Funnily enough, the first thing that Hamish, my coach, said to me was, you should go and get a New Zealand passport because the pathway to becoming an international athlete is a lot shorter than able-bodied, so you never know what happens. And luckily I went and got one.
Joe, tall, symmetrical, relaxed. Joe expects to go and run a personal best. The Paralympic B standard is 12.08 and Joe's best is 12.10, so he's 0.02 of a second off, which is painfully close. You're really good at interplaying with the ground, right? At using the ground to generate. So just finish that push and stroke the leg back. You'll you'll roll along. The T37 classification is super competitive internationally. So if he can run well in the heats and make that final, we think that'd be a huge outcome.
Right. Do you want fried or scrambled egg?
Scrambled, please. What is your pre-race meal, Joe?
Usually it's actually scrambled eggs and toast.
But you did win prizes for cooking,
Yep.
or a prize for cooking at school.
That would be
Sorry,
first
food
place.
technology. We shouldn't say that it's cooking.
That would be first place, would it not?
It's just a shame we never saw any of that at home.
My family are incredibly supportive. They were the first to be at my races, and they send all my races back home to everyone in the UK.
I know your grandparents are going to be fixed to the screen watching it.
You'll have to send the link out to everybody. You'll have fans all over the world.
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Indeed.
I'm going to cope with that level of fame.
I'm not. I don't expect.
Joe's disability is tough to see, and it's difficult to spot in many, many people. 99% of people would see him walk down the street and would just see a regular 5'9" individual with no disability whatsoever. But it becomes much more visible as soon as you become much more sporty, so much more active, it becomes obvious.
I have mixed feelings about how we dealt with Joe, whether we should have confronted his disability for him and with him earlier on, that we maybe didn't push him to acknowledge his disability.
It's a weird one for me looking at my disability when I was younger, because I don't really think I recognised what an impact it had on me. I think it was more obvious at like secondary school that there were certain differences between the way I ran and the way other kids ran, and I was the kid that people made fun of because I ran different, and it was just an easy target. Whereas on the football pitch, like I could be the aggressor.
So I was looking at these the other day. You might want to have a look at them. All of these, we found them and put them on the shelf, a little shrine to you.
There's a few here, Mum.
So what was it, Joe, that's made you want to take up running?
I think at the time I was doing lots of social sport, and this had like a kind of breaking point with the football team. Like we were at that pub. I remember that was like the night that like my life kind of changed, I think.
I was with a close group of friends, and they hadn't had a background of my disability. I hadn't told them. At that point, I was just Joe, able-bodied Joe to them. And somebody had walked into the bar with an obvious physical disability. Potentially, they were a stroke victim. And the entire table decided to like make fun of this person. And that was pretty horrific for me to like watch, because I felt like they were, in a way, making fun of me, and I took offence to that. Which, looking back, it's not on them. They weren't aware of my disability, so it's not on them to make me feel good about myself.
So I think it was kind of me realising that like I have to accept what's like my situation, my condition, all this sort of stuff. And have to like kind of just do something about it.
As you are going through your journey, I feel like I'm having a similar journey, acknowledging and accepting that my son is awesome in everything he does.
It's cool.
I love you.
I love golf. I've been playing golf for ages, and I was looking for a job to sort of help me over the weekends. So I was working in the range and like in the pro shop just over summer, and the boys at the shed asked me if I wanted to help out a bit more often, and that basically turned into 3 or 4 days a week, and then permanent about 6-8 months ago. At the end of each line, I have to like turn the mower. Pushing the mower with like just my right hand is way tougher. So I kind of like get by using my left hand way more, whereas like the right hand, I don't really use that much. So I just make do and adapt.
We did some fundraising at work. We invited a couple of football teams that me and Dad know, and they came and had a hit. We had some competitions and raised a fair bit of money.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming down, supporting me. You guys, with the money you've given me, you sent me to Paris. I'm running the 100 metres on the 9th and hopefully the 10th of July, which is the final.
I'm putting myself out there for the first time. Like I need to, yeah, make a statement and, you know, I'm here and I'm going to be around for a long time. So, yeah, please give me some money. I do get a few sponsorships from Disability Sport Auckland and other organisations that help out disabled people. But there's no official funding from Athletics New Zealand or High Performance. There's no like sponsorships or deals or anything. And yeah, I just kind of feel like I'm on the outside looking in.
I train 4 to 5 times a week, depending on where we are in the season. It takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to get to training, usually on a weekday. I actually really enjoy the commute. I know it sounds a bit weird, but it's a chance to like listen to my music and like, I don't know, relax, maybe a form of meditation. So, like a couple of physio exercises just to stretch out my right side as much as my left. We try and do all the stretches like twice as much on my right side. So we kind of just do everything twice. Yeah. Lots of my weight goes down my left side. My parents made a big deal out of like trying to even myself out when I was younger, but just with like not even thinking about things, I used to just like stand on like one foot or like put all my weight down my left side. I try to be even, not even just like with training, but with like work and life in general.
There and back is 1. Each set there's 12. There's 24.
Mitch is someone that I've connected with, and it's really nice to have someone in the squad that's a couple of years older and that has been to a major before, and just nice to bounce ideas off and bounce feelings and thoughts about pre-race and things like that off, yeah.
It's 24 hill reps basically, so it's like 200 metres around and then just 30 seconds at the top and then at the bottom. So heading into World Champs in Paris, one thing I'm working on would be my top end speed again. It's my endurance is the biggest thing for me, yeah. I think we have 8 left. Pretty sore, pretty tired. This is mental now, yeah, it's real. It's not very nice. I get super fatigued, and so like trying to work my right side as much as my left becomes like infinitely harder. The first rep probably looks a lot different to the last rep. Yeah.
Success for me is just being better than I was yesterday. We're cooking spaghetti bolognese with fettuccine. Pretty good for an athlete. It's pretty, well, fairly healthy. Bit of protein, bit of carbs. Yeah. Pretty simple though, so pretty easy to make after training.
It's definitely an interesting diet. Very high protein, nothing else really. When I was away in South Africa, he literally just ate mince and rice.
Mince bowl and rice.
All day, every day.
We met at our old job actually. We both used to work at Briscoe's group. I was Zoe's like night shift manager when we first started dating.
And it was, yeah, it was a little fun. He's there between the aisles. Late night shifts.
When I first told her about my CP, the first thing she did was go and study CP and then come up with possible solutions for, you know, how to help me with being an athlete, being the scientist that she is.
So I met Joe before he thought about getting into this athletic journey, and watching him go from I'm not quite sure what I want to do to having this very solid idea of what he wants to go for and work towards has been incredibly moving. He's training almost every day, not only on the track, but at home, mentally. He's preparing himself for his races and for where he wants to be. He's working towards it 24/7.
We do this together. She's sacrificed a lot for me, so yeah.
I'm more than happy to support that. Watching him go for something he's really passionate about has been great. And to see him go to the Paris World Champs will be amazing.
So for the future, I'm definitely looking towards trying to become a full-time athlete in any way possible. And that would set me up to make future games and just to be the best athlete and the best role model, I guess, that I can be, yeah.
Good boy.
Training today is the usual. It's 3 block starts and trying to be like as fast as possible. Probably my last biggish session before my heats on the 9th. Today's probably the first time I've actually got a bit nervous with anticipation about it. I mean, obviously I'm a very competitive person, so I want to do as best as I can, but there's no expectations on my behalf to like medal or place anywhere, so just do as good as I can. It's a crazy step up, just if you look at the team, like the team's huge in terms of like what they've done and like their achievements. But the step up, it's just, I train exactly how I've trained back home, so there's not much difference there. But yeah, just on a much bigger scale, with lots more people. Just got to take it in, I guess, and be a sponge.
You know, going to a World Championships for the first time can be quite daunting. It's a really big learning curve for him. He has really embraced the situation and he's focused, he's gelled with the team. So, you know, he'll be looking for PBs and who knows? Who knows what will happen?
I mean, it's my debut, so they're all like, oh, it's the perfect time, like, you know, no one's thinking anything of you, so it's like, you know, it's the perfect opportunity. I mean, it's amazing to get this far, so to be on the start lines, yeah, amazing. Just training day in, day out makes a big difference for my CP. I'm definitely way stronger than I was. Mentally as well, being able to like talk to people about my CP, that was one of the big things of why I started athletics, was so that I could like talk about my disability and like own it. Put myself in a much better mental space, just being on the athletics track and like, yeah, being around people who are like-minded and like, yeah, body.
I think he'd describe it as a transformation, if you like. I think he went through the first 20 years of his life doing everything that he could possibly do to be Joe, the same as everybody else, competing with the same as everybody else. I think he has found a community with parasports. I think he's found his tribe, you know, and I think for a long time he was looking for something. And it was right in front of his nose, really, but it's one of those things that, you know, you can't see the wood from the trees.
So excited to compete tonight. It's the unknown for him, you know, this being his first World Championship, so he's really lucky having Mitch in the team with him, who's his training partner. So they did starts practice here in the stadium the other day, and he's got a feel for the stadium, which is great. Typically what you see on a lot of focused athletes, they're oblivious to what's around them. They may look up and see a familiar face or something like that, but they're focused on what they have to do. So, you know, seriously, anything could happen in the stands and those athletes wouldn't even realise what's going on because they're just so focused on what the job is at hand.
On your marks.
Спокойно подошел и становись.
Set.
Ricardo Gomes for Brazil. Ricardo Gomes for Brazil, the 3 faster which need to qualify for the final that will take place tomorrow.
Yeah, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Just punched my ticket, so that's exactly what I came here for. Yeah, absolutely stoked. That was the main goal, punch my ticket to the final, and then just try and run as fast as possible tomorrow. First up, off the block, that went pretty well. I wasn't actually as nervous as I thought I'd be. I felt quite like comfortable and at like home. It wasn't perfect technically, could have been more patient, But that's something just to look forward to tomorrow and to try and build on that. So yeah.
Record du monde de la spécialité avec 12
PB.
mètres 63. Il est déjà en tête
Oceania
du
record.
concours
Let's go.
après ses 2 premiers jets.
Very proud of our boy.
We're going to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are we going to do tomorrow?
Oh, just be more patient, I reckon, and break that 12-second barrier.
Lane 7. Continental record holder with 12 seconds 08, representing New Zealand, Joseph Smith.
On your marks.
Le départ de cette finale du 100 mètres masculin catégorie T 37 avec Santiago Polomo, le bon retour de Ricardo Gomes, le Brésilien qui va devenir très certainement champion du monde avec un record des championnats. Le vent est régulier, plus 0,1 mètre par seconde.
Like, that's 2 PBs for me going into it. That's a really good result for me. That's an Oceania record, so I'm pretty happy with overall how it went, yeah. It's my first game, so really just being here is like my final in itself. So yeah, the heat was amazing. This was amazing. I mean, that's championship record, so that's history as well, so that's amazing.
When I was running, I had lots of people around the world supporting me. My sister was in Europe, and then all my family in the UK as well. They were all watching me like huddled around the TV. It was great, yeah. The time was good. It was 12.1, which is my second fastest time ever.
The guiding words to Joe is keep doing what he's doing, because we're extremely proud of him, and you know, actually he did bloody well.
Yeah, let's not beat around the bush.
No, exactly. It was awesome,
Yeah.
and you know, I mean, yeah, very proud. 2 PBs, what else could you ask for? And an Oceania record.
Yeah, Ocean
It was
record.
awesome.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty
I told you it
special.
was as well.
It was pretty special.
This whole experience has completely changed my lens of disability. I learned that I belong in that space and that like I can punch my weight, and I want more of it, like, you know, almost obsessed with getting back there and getting to the Paralympics.